we'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters.
What's going on, everybody? I'm walking into the dark garage, but we're going to an even darker place. The enclosure, when I say enclosure, we're still working with an aquarium for those Dumerals monitors. Their light burnt out yesterday afternoon, so they have no light bulb in here. And there's the male on the water. The female is she's probably in the tunnel. She's on the other side of the water. And we have a secondary thing. These albinos are getting quite large, and we would like to separate this group. There's 5 in this group right now, and if we could put 2 of the largest ones separate from that group, that would take a little pressure off the group. Now, in the coming weeks, we are going to move them probably all separately into, we'll divide this and make this into 4 enclosures. I think we have 1 sold, we'll find out. So if it's down to 4, that would be great. And we've already taken the pressure off the younger group, so we're okay with them. But the Dumerals are ready for a new enclosure. The female, she's still quite small. She's growing quite a bit slower, but I think they would benefit and enjoy that natural sunlight. And we just finished the video moving the female Cuban rock iguana outside. And we should have a name by now. That video is coming out before this one. We gave you guys a selection of 3 names. I believe it was Nutmeg, Paprika, or Tres Leges. One of those 3 names, which I guess we'll know shortly what that name is. Or we should already know. We should already know. But as you guys know, I always build like a door stop I don't make the tolerances super tight on the door. I have this ripped strip of 2x4 here that is my door stop and closes that gap. But with the larger monitors, I didn't need to fill that gap on that side. I don't think that's pretty dang tight, but also on the bottom, there's a bit of a gap, like a 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna cut 2 pieces of trim. I'm gonna close that gap on this enclosure for them, and then we're gonna fine-tune comb, glance at this thing, and make sure there's nowheres. That female Dumerals is quite small. We'll clean out this water because that was from the iguana, and we'll give the cage a good rinse, but we'll check it over really well to make sure everything's okay, and we'll get them moved over here. So I'm gonna go grab those cut boards. Okay, now I have the strips, top and bottom, and now the door is shutting against that strip, and now there is no gap, no escape gap for the Dumerals. And this door, I know, shuts good and tight, so we're not gonna have any issues there. So while we were doing this, I noticed that the snapping turtle has been basking a lot more, which we think that it's just getting more comfortable, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's now knows that this is its basking rock, and it's coming out and basking. We cleaned this water yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
So because of the amount of sunlight, I think we're just getting... You are brave. Holy smokes.
His eyes aren't open.
Oh, it was asleep. Yeah, the eyes were not open. That's hilarious.
You think I would have done that while he was awake?
Wow.
Not from that end.
But yeah, yesterday when she was cleaning the water, and I said she cleaned the water. When we had the water down, the mosquito minnows and the other minnows that we let loose in there are thriving in there. Yeah. And we drain the tub here. So it drains it all but like the last 3/4 of an inch, and we kind of just rinse around, and the minnows are swimming around in that 1 inch of water. We have to put a net down to catch any that come through the drain, and so we can put them back in. And the turtle is just gobbling them up as fast as it could because he had it
of the shallow water.
Of the shallow water. It was funny. So I think we just need to get the water tub in here and And that's it. Now, we have noticed that these guys are a little stressed with the heat. While we're doing this, should we go ahead and put a palm frond for shade on the top of all of these?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, what's it gonna hurt? And I think we have those smaller palm trees, these cluster palms, I forget what you call them, but I could take palm fronds off of these guys and just a little bit more of filtered light on them. So I can clip a couple of these off and set them up top. They're gonna be green day one, but in 2 to 3 days in this heat, they're gonna be brown. But it's not about how green they look, it's about the shade they're casting. Because we noticed today that the male whitethroat was actually panting. So he has his water tub to get into, but that's just a sign of just how relentless the heat was. I think it was 97 today. And there wasn't much breeze. There's afternoon, we have the breeze. The threat of maybe some rain, but I don't think it's gonna rain.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah, right. So let me cut a couple of those branches and we'll get some shade on these little guys at the same time. So I'm just doing something as simple as this, just a little bit more shade for them. That should cut down on some of the sun, and his hide box should be moved back over to this side so it's more on the shady side. She's been living underneath that bark. Now the water monitors, I don't want to scare because you were just handling Boba. You just had Boba out. In fact, you were handling both of the Guru sulfurs. He is looking so good. So good.
Yeah, he actually came out, crawled on my shoulder a little bit, and then went back in.
So I think just something like that. I mean, I still want them to have their bulk of their sunning on the top there. So if you put them at that angle, they would still be able to sun on that shelf, but that should cast a little bit more shade in their enclosure. So I'll zip tie those 3 on there and show you the finished product, and then we'll move these Dumerals. Okay, so I think we're gonna give him a swim first. She's on the other side of the tub. Might as well move him first since he's the easier one, and then...
She's the easier one.
Well, she's the easier one to handle. Not that he's hard to handle.
I've been working with him.
He's just squirmy sometimes. Not bitey, but squirmy.
You see him in the sun, how his color looks.
His color is awesome. He really, so much color in his neck. They're gonna be colored up so much nicer in the natural UV. And this is what he wants to do all day. So when we do build their permanent enclosure, it's going to have a lot of water, because I know my water monitors like to be in the water quite a bit. This guy, sorry, I'm changing the way the camera is. This guy never wants to leave the water. He'll leave the water to eat. And there's the female. She's quite a bit smaller than him. And she likes the water a little less than him too, really. You know, that's like one of the things like people say, like they lose their color, but there's still so much cool pattern and banding, and they are very, yeah, she really is. They really are very interesting monitors, and if you own other species, it's crazy how different they behave. He is definitely excited out here in the UV. He's definitely a lot more.
Look at the very tip of his tail.
The tip of his tail is wiggling. If I could show that to you without my hand wiggling. And of course it's not wiggling when I show you. But she was right. It was absolutely wiggling the tip of his tail. I think he's settled in and he's calm now. I'm sure as soon as I put the camera back in his face, he'll probably start wiggling again. And that's her typical. She likes to crawl out of the water and go find a good place to hide. So both of them consistently don't like to eat the fish.
Yeah.
Every time we offer fish, they pass on the fish and they wait for egg, chicks, chopped up mice. So they don't want anything to do with fish. That's a really odd movement,
Yeah, that's
right?
interesting behavior.
You got a good whiff of something outside. Very, very alert, both of them. Yeah. Catch a ride on him. I love it when they tuck their arms and they swim. It's just so cool. And I keep saying that we're going to put something on this side, but it's worked out with nothing on this side, really.
Yeah, they don't use the bathroom over here. They go to the bathroom in the water.
But it's nice having him in the deeper section to not crawl out when you're trying to play with or observe one particular one, trying to get a video for a potential buyer or something like that. And you can really see, like, he is 60% larger, or I'd say she's 40% of him. It's just a big, big difference.
She has such stark whites on the side of her face.
Yeah. I'm actually filming into the shade. I'm probably missing the color. And these were captive born, produced by Aiden Bradley. He donated the pair to the channel. We can't thank him enough. But, you know, him and I talked when he had just started purchasing them, and I chickened out from investing in Dumerals to try and breed them. That I needed, especially at that point, an easier win. Actually, at this point, I still need an easier win. I haven't been doing too good. Been way too many things on my plate to pair animals properly and stuff. But that's fine. It is totally fine. Super cool. Now, I'm gonna explore the camera. Not afraid of it now. We're gonna go ahead and pick them up and move them to the enclosure. I'll move the little lady first, or I know Kagan, she's gonna move them both at the same time.
If he wants
Unless he wants to be squirmy, you may need a second hand for him.
Yeah. That's a tall shelf, lady.
I'd start her at the bottom. We don't know how they do with the height yet. I guess we're gonna find out. Alright, just grabbing him over there. Alright, she's already crawled all the way up to the upper corner, which says that they will totally climb if they have the opportunity. He's doing what he always does, sitting in the water. I have a feeling he's gonna get out to explore. It's got to be too tempting in this big enclosure. I'd love to see him climb up that log. There's that weird movement again that I have not witnessed from him at all before.
I know it's not, but it looks like a mating head twitch. But he's way too young.
No, it's like this herky-jerky, like start, stop, start, stop. Very strange. Aiden, if you're watching this, either private message me or comment and let me know what you think this behavior is, aside from him nudging the screen, which I hope he doesn't do that much. It is very jerky, twitchy. And you guys know me, I don't like to give any stress to an animal. So if this is stress from being outside for the first time, I'm just gonna back off and let him be and let him settle in, because that's what's more important, is for him to not beat himself up or stress himself out.
Her reds in the sunlight are awesome.
Oh yeah, she really see these rusty reds on her side in the sunlight. I don't know if the GoPro is picking it up, but really, really pretty. You know, and it's great that that palm frond is there. They have that that filtered sunlight above them. Very cool. So we'll let them settle in, and we'll check back on them in an hour or so and see what they're up to then. Okay, right. We are all right. We are back from the store. We got a new bulb for this enclosure. I guess that's about how that one's gonna set up. Are you to move just the two biggest ones over here?
The two large guys.
Okay.
How stinking big he's getting.
Yeah, they are getting huge. I mean, the parents weren't much bigger than that when I got them.
But you made it easy for me. Right on top of the pile, huh? Just you.
And then they hold on to each other when you try to get them out. It's such a... So calm, guys. Super, super calm.
You guys have the penthouse to yourselves now.
All right, just the two of you in there. And you guys are one step away from a bigger enclosure. So now we have the three in there. More crickets hatching out. And now, let's go check on the Dumerals and see how they're doing. When we pulled up, the female is still sitting high in the corner and the male is just exploring. But that's, you know, it was a big change for them today. So the male's right there. And the female's real high up in the enclosure, just hanging out. Super warm at night, so I'm not worried about any temperatures or anything like that. I mean, overall, they have a ton more space to explore. If they were in the other enclosure, that male would just be sitting in the water tub.
Yep.
And now he has all this space to explore. Still some of those different movements, things going by, wild lizards to look at. Starts getting used to the dogs, and now more space, and maybe that'll get him to kick up and grow a little bit, especially this little lady. We'll see what happens. But they should be a lot happier. And that's what it's all about. Getting them ready for that next step, to be back with all the big monitors in the row of cages, which will be awesome.
That will be really cool.
And when we do set them up, I want a much bigger water feature. So we're gonna have to like put that into the planning. God, I don't know like how long it will be until you have to separate the male and female, but at some point that's going to happen, I imagine. We'll talk to Aiden about it to see what we have to do at that point. But I mean, they may have 2 enclosures to roam around for a while since they're cohabitating so well. But they need to grow into that. Their next step will be into one of the enclosures that the iguanas are temporarily in, a 4x4x6. But they're a ways off from that.
That'll be a little while.
It'll be a little while. You never know. Some of those animals hit a growth spurt. We had a friend over yesterday and they wanted to see the male white throat monitor. I was like, oh yeah, you know, he's about such size. And I lifted up, he must have hit a massive growth spurt because he has really grown. Yeah, we'll end this video on this guy. Get his food tray out when I'm doing this. But look at the size of this little guy. This is one of the babies that we got last year after the Daytona show. He is getting so big. So big. He's about to shed right now. I can see how yellow he is. But he's getting massive. And these guys are gonna go to our buddy who is watching the Argus monitors. So Caleb McClellan, the male and female pair are gonna go to him. But they're doing great. I can't wait for Caleb to see him. I think that's all for this one. It's a big weekend, so we got stuff planned. We're gonna get inside, get cleaned up, and get ready for the festivities. But all right, guys, until next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.